Welcome everyone to episode 36 of the Thundercraps podcast, where we forge through the shitstorm that was WCW Thunder. I am your host, a Waffle House junkie, Josh Kaiser. And joining me today, a man who since taking regular showers doesn't seem to be scratching anymore, Kyle Hoagland.
What's going on, everybody? Man, this Thunder was real exciting. I mean, you had former Flock members, you got former TV champions, and obviously the cherry on top of the Stevie Ray. I can't wait to tackle this one.
You know those? Do you ever see those memes kind of that are online where it's like people say, "Oh, I fed a bot like 1,000 hours of footage of X, Y, or Z, and this is what they spit out." It's like a one-page script, and it's supposed to be like gibberish but funny, and like just uses a bunch of like common words and stuff that person or that show or whatever is known for.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like if we fed a bot 1,000 hours of Thunder, this is the exact show it would spit out.
Oh God, yes. And here's the thing about that. I think we've complained about this in the past, where it's like we felt like the format of the show has been all over the place. But this right here is just quintessential Thunder.
It really is. And of course, if you're not familiar, we are at Thunder 36. It is October 15th, 1998. And yes, it is quintessential Thunder, Kyle. Of course, we're pre-taped, which we knew was coming. We had the live show in Indianapolis last week, so it's pre-taped in Indy this week. And we are now 10 days from Halloween Havoc at this point?
We are one more Nitro and one more Thunder.
Yes.
Away.
So 10 days from Halloween Havoc, the card is really heating up. And it was interesting is as a pre-tape show, they open up by showing the commentary team, right there at the booth. So you're thinking, oh, maybe it is a live show. But it's basically the commentary team saying a bunch of cliched stuff that they must have filmed last week, because it's like, man, how about on Nitro? There was a lot of fights and melees, and they were fighting in the ring and in the locker room and other places. And, they could wait to Halloween Havoc, but they needed to fight more now. Like, they could not have been more generic when basically talking about what has happened since last Thunder, because they have no idea what has actually transpired at the previous Nitro.
Well, at the same time, it's not like they can't have the set and do like a green screen of the crowd and still be able to pull off something in 1998 to make it look like they're there and talking about something that's a week older than what the show actually is. So, I mean, the production value in 98 is still good enough to pull that part off.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't really need to, because this is the one and only time we see the commentary team actually live on camera. So I think it was their way to like trick fans, like, oh, we got a live show tonight. But we don't. We don't have a live show at all. But we do have, Kyle, is an opening bout. Sick Boy and Van Hammer. It doesn't get much better than that when you're opening up Thunder.
That's Mr. Boy to you, by the way.
And the commentary team is going to let us know that Chucky did, in fact, make his debut on Nitro. Of course, Chucky from Bride of Chucky, as they're going to promote that. That has been the laughter that we've been hearing about for weeks, which you and I discussed the first time it all broke. And the Bride of Chucky actually releases tomorrow, October 16th. And it actually does quite well in theaters for its budget. And, of course, spawns a couple, like Seed of Chucky and I think one other, maybe just one other Bride of Chucky spinoff. I can't think of what it is. It's not important.
And is Seed of Chucky the one that Scott Steiner is in?
Oh, is he? I'm not sure. I've not seen Scott Steiner in a Chucky movie, but now that I know that, I need to go see it, I think.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because Scott Steiner is a triple A class type of actor. Are you looking it up right now? The only reason why I asked that because Chucky does mention that Scott is going to be in his next project, and so I'm like, so what? I didn't remember what the next Chucky movie was, which I'm pretty sure it was Seed of Chucky, but he just keeps talking about like as if he's going to be in a movie. So I wasn't sure if whether or not Scott Steiner was in that particular movie or not.
He was not in Seed of Chucky. That much I can see, but I tell you what I will do. I should just go to Scott Steiner IMDb page instead of the Seed of Chucky page and see what movies Scott Steiner's been in, and let's see, of course, he is best known for his time in TNA, House of Hardcore, TNA Impact, Turning Point, TNA Impact, TNA Raw, come on, SmackDown, Legends Wrestling, Nitro, Thunder. He was in an episode of Charmed. WrestleFest, Grudges, Best of.
His wiki shows no filmography.
Yeah, I don't think he was in anything.
When Chucky lied to us, you know what? That's the last time I ever trust a murdering fucking doll.
There you go. And, you know, we may have gone way off topic there, but it was Sick Boy and Van Hammer here, Kyle. Nothing to talk about. Eventually, I will have to say we did see our first sign of the night. Van Hammer rules. So
this is mom. This is mom who lives in Indianapolis.
We had a Van Hammer fan. Sick Boy is going to do a 6 somersault over the back of Van Hammer off the ropes, but then he's going to get caught in the Alabama Slam flashback. That was your match. I gave it 2 stars. I thought it was an okay opening match. I think you had a little less praise for it, though.
There was no excitement for this match attached to it. There was no reason for them to wrestle. I gave it a 1.5 stars. There was 2 goddamn sleepers. Even the finisher was a bit botched. The flashback did not look very flush. The match just didn't check off any boxes for me, unfortunately. And I think once you put Van Hammer in a match, I think whatever check boxes there could have been, they all get erased.
But you did get to hear Lee Marshall and Bobby Heenan discuss the word groovy and boss. So, I mean, if that
this is true.
If that doesn't ignite excitement in you, I don't know what else is going to.
The fact that they had to do that in order to instill excitement into the TV crowd is what probably speaks even louder about how uninteresting this match was.
Yeah. After the match, we get a special look at the Four Horsemen. I think it's the same promo we've been seeing for them.
It is.
But then we're gonna get our second sign of the night, and I screen capped it for your benefit, Kyle. The fans out there can't see it, but I'm gonna describe it to you. It's a neon yellow sign, like poster board, and it's got the word Goldberg written on it. And then there's a picture, and it's an equal sign and an equal sign, and then between the equal sign is like a triangle, like a right triangle.
And it's on fire.
It's on fire. I don't know what that means. Goldberg is a flaming triangle?
I guess. I don't know. This looks like some Illuminati bullshit, so I have no idea what this even could remotely mean. It doesn't even look like a right triangle. Like if we were to go and look at it, it looks like it's leaning a little bit. It looks obtuse. It looks a little obtuse for me.
I just thought it kind of looks like those triangles. It's not a perfect right triangle.
It looks like if someone's trying to show you a square plus b squared equals c squared, but it's
on fire.
It's on fire. Yeah. It looks like a protractor because it's
kind of like a protractor.
It's because it's open in the middle. So yes. I feel like it's up there with "You're my rubber hammer, baby boy" or whatever the fuck Nash said like 6 months ago. This is just one of those, things that are coded that maybe we'll just never know about.
I looked up flaming protractor, and
you would.
There's nothing worth discussing.
There was probably a flaming protractor on your ultimate page of pro wrestling.
So that's our second sign of the night. We're gonna move into our first replay of the night now. And it's from Nitro. It's going to be all clips here, and a lot of clips, which doesn't totally surprise me given the fact that you're trying to fill time on a pre-tape show. But it's from this past Nitro. Flair and the Horsemen are showing up. Bischoff's out in they're all in the back area of the arena. Bischoff's basically saying again that the Horsemen are banned. They're not allowed in his arena tonight. But then out comes Bruce MacArthur, who's the owner of the Blackhawks and Bulls, I think, and also they're at the United Center at this point, and he kind of owns the building as well. He basically says that tonight the building belongs to him and the Horsemen, and Bischoff basically screams that he's got the lease tonight; it belongs to him. And Bruce is going to say, "I got the skybox," and the Horsemen and I are partying in it. Security's going to kind of hold him off for a minute while Bischoff continues to yell at him and basically says he's going to sue him for coming in here. And Benoit is going to drop the line of the night by saying, "Talk to the hand."
Dude, I love Benoit. Once again, don't take that out of context as he is a fucking murderer. But I love the fact that this dude has not a cool bone in his body, but he wants to think he does.
Yeah, it was pretty classic 90s there. Doug Dillinger basically tells Bischoff his hands are tied, and they're going to do it. So then we cut to a scene up in the skybox, and everyone's drinking champagne and partying. You can imagine the smiles and just the kind of craziness that people like Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko, the shenanigans that they'll get into here in the skybox. Bischoff's gonna, he's in the ring. He's on the microphone. Says it's not the United Center. It's the Bischoff Center tonight. He doesn't want Ric Flair here. He calls out Dillinger and J.J. Dillon. Then they're going to go up to the suite. The same security that was outside earlier preventing people from coming into it are now protecting the Horsemen and the sky, everyone in the skybox.
Like, really, you couldn't hire just a couple people off the street just to have different looking security?
Or, you have an arena full of security. I'm pretty sure you could have grabbed a couple different ones, but whatever. Bischoff's going to pound on the door. Bruce McArthur's going to open it again, say it's a private party, get lost. Bischoff is eventually going to push the owner. This is going to bring security in. Flair's going to walk around wooing a lot, and Bischoff is going to get carried out by security out of the arena and thrown into a cop car. And that's your big replay, basically continuing to fuel the fire of Bischoff versus the Horsemen.
Or Bischoff versus Bruce.
Right. We will see our third sign of the night at this point, and it says, "Trust me, bring back Jake the Snake Roberts." So
probably the same guy who probably wrote the sign that says "Bring back the Warrior." I'm not trusting you anymore, guy with sign.
That's right. Our next match of the night, La Parka making his return to Thunder, Kyle. I know you and I were both kind of excited about that, and I think it might have been last week's show or the show before that. We were just talking about we missed La Parka, and it's been a while, so good to see La Parka back. And he'll be wrestling Konnan tonight. Of course, Konnan's going to get in and do Konnan things. La Parka actually is going to start out the match by swinging his belt. That's a belt with a belt buckle on it around like he's going to attack Konnan.
Which back in 95 would have been an immediate disqualification.
Right.
Just saying.
Konnan's going to drop like an outsider's edge crucifix powerbomb move here, which was kind of impressive to see Konnan do something different. It eventually ends with Konnan doing a face smasher and a tequila sunrise for the win. I gave the match 2.25 stars. I thought it was probably more like a 2-star match, but Konnan is way, way, way over right now, and he tried tonight, and the crowd was into this match.
I keep trying to wonder if whether or not Konnan is over or just he's the representative of the Wolfpack consistently on Thunder, and the Wolfpack is so, white hot over that it's just Konnan's over by association.
I'm sure there's part of that, but I do think Konnan is charismatic.
Oh, sure. I think Konnan, 75% of his work is him yelling at the crowd and trying to get the crowd going. So I gave this 2 stars, very similar to the reason why you gave it 2.25. I thought it was like a 1.75 match with a 3-star match crowd. The moves are okay. I think La Parka just has a really weird move set, but it's very it's the exact opposite of a lot of wrestlers we're used to seeing, where Konnan doing Konnan things, or the 3 moves of doom. I feel like La Parka just willy-nilly just does whatever the shit he feels like doing, and I like that about La Parka, is that for the most part the dude doesn't go in there and do his 3 pop worthy moves and then moves on. I think he does try to be a little bit either innovative or at the very least original with his moves. And maybe it's also because I haven't seen the guy in probably 8 or 9 episodes, so it's good to see him back. I will say though that La Parka needs to learn how to deliver a chop, because he did not. That was one thing that he did a lot in this match, and every single one of them looked like dog shit.
There you have it. We will see our 4th sign of the night after this match, and it says, "Shh, my wife doesn't know I'm here." So I'm sorry to spoil that, guy. I hope your wife doesn't listen to this podcast 21 years later and you get busted for going to that October 15th, 1998 Thunder.
And first of all, how dare WCW see that sign and fucking out that guy? No, that's what I feel. That's what I feel bad about, because clearly the wife. I would think the wife doesn't watch the show, but in the event that maybe she's flipping through the channels and she's going past, what's going on TBS or TNT these days, and all of a sudden she sees this sign and says, "My wife doesn't know I'm here," and realizes it's her husband. Maybe he said, "Hey, I'm just going to go get a couple of smokes. I'll be back in a couple minutes." Next thing you know, he's gone for 3 hours.
And actually, it's probably longer than that. Well, at least 3 hours, because
at least 3 hours. Yeah,
he has two Thunders taping. After this, we got our Saturday night promo. Again, it's that weird one that we kind of have it last week where it shows like wrestler entrances. And we know that Konnan and Kidman and Saturn are going to be on there, and Jericho versus Fit Finlay for the TV title, as well as Scott Hall. So we don't know who most of those people are wrestling except for the Jericho-Finlay match. Speaking of Fit Finlay, he's going to be wrestling in our next match against Riggs. And I waited. It's starting to become the drinking game, Kyle, how long it takes Lee Marshall to bring up Fit Finlay wrestling in an alley. And at one point, he said, they do end up discussing about Finlay's form is not in the ring fighting with the rules. So there you have it. Heenan asked makes the comment like, why don't you just take the eye patch and move it to the other eye so then Riggs can't see it all, which is it's kind of funny if you think about it. Finlay's going to do a big butt jump at one point, which they call the Irish Heimlich, and Finlay is going to win the match with the Tombstone pile driver. I give it 2.25 stars. I thought it was another solid match. Nothing amazing, nothing great, but not a bad match either.
I gave it 2 stars. I felt Riggs had a much better showing last week. And, maybe it's just because of, Finlay's.
I think it was a different showing, but I know what you're saying.
I think Riggs looked better. I mean, I think
fair.
Riggs.
That's fair.
I think once again you're fighting a different person, and Finlay's a much more stiffer wrestler than Konnan. But yeah, I gave it 2 stars. I call this kind of a ho hum match. Like I really had no negative or positive things to say about it. But the one thing I will say, and I think it's going to be the theme for the rest of the night, is that they really give a lot of these matches time to breathe. I didn't think this match would be 6.5, 7 minutes like it was, but they really are at least giving the talent some time to tell a story.
Yep, I believe that's a good point. I think most of the matches tonight are of good like you said 4+ minutes, 4 to 8 minutes or something like that a match, which may not sound like a lot, but when you really put it together, that's a decent amount of time to allot for a Thunder show. Probably the only one that didn't get that kind of time, of course, will be our main event, but we'll get there. After this match, we do get a Goldberg DDP promo. It's just black and white, kind of shows both of them in the video as we continue to push for their world title match here at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, but don't count out Raven. He had a chance at winning the title.
That's true. After this, the cruiserweight title is going to be on the line as Kidman's going to be defending against Kaz Hayashi. We found out that recently, Mike Tenay, of course, showing up for a commentary at this point. He lets us know that Kaz recently challenged Liger for the IWGP lightweight title. He must not have won it because they don't say anything more than he challenged for it. Today is also going to talk about the trend of the recent members of the flock showing their true potential now. Keep in mind, Riggs and Sick Boy both lost it earlier tonight, so I think Kidman is the only one who's actually succeeded out of the flock. I guess Saturn, if you consider him a former flock member. But it's just kind of funny how they keep pushing.
And Horace's job to disciple last week, so I feel like Tenay, we get what you're trying to say, but I think you're only saying it to push Kidman.
Kidman, absolutely. Kyle, you made the comment about the commentary team was criticizing Kaz Hayashi for taking his eye off of Kidman when he did a moonsault and missed it.
Dude, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like, that is a requirement in order to do a moonsault, and they're making it seem like if he hits it, it's like, oh, what a move. But if he hits it, it's a great move. If they miss it, they're like, oh, he took his eye off the wrestler. I'm like,
right.
What the hell's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, you're not swinging a golf club here. You're doing a literally backflip. So yeah. Heenan also mentions that Kaz Hayashi got the taste of American dollar here. Which brings them into a whole discussion about money and Sonny Ono and things like that. The match was a lot of back and forth. I mean, both guys demonstrating a lot in this match. There was a great top rope jawbreaker move from Kaz Hayashi, which I thought
loved that spot.
Pretty cool. And a brainbuster as well by Kaz Hayashi, which is just something you don't see all that often. So it's kind of you right now here in '98, I feel like we see brainbusters less than we see pile drivers.
Well, it also helps that it doesn't help the fact that Disco Inferno decided that he doesn't going to use the stunner anymore. So when he wins matches, he uses the pile driver.
It's fair. Sonny Ono is eventually going to come out. he doesn't really do much in the match. He just kind of watches it. Kaz Hayashi is going to get drop kicked as he comes off the top of the rope. And this is going to eventually lead to a shooting star press for the 3 count for Kidman. I gave it 2 3/4 stars. I thought it was really a great back and forth match. And I think if I ever thought Kaz had a real shot of winning this, or that the crowd, if I got the crowd from the Konnan La Parka match in for this one, like as far as their hype and stuff, I think this is a 3 to 3.5 star match. But it just didn't get there because the crowd was not into it like I wish they would have, and I never thought Kaz had a real shot at winning.
Yep, those are all good points. I also gave it 2 3/4 stars for a little bit of a different reason. I would have rated this higher if the beginning of the match took off a little bit better than it did. I think if I felt like at the very beginning of the match, maybe the first 2 minutes, there really wasn't much offense at all. I think there was a lot of headlocks, a lot of kind of chin locks, and then I feel like as soon as it kind of spilled out to the outside, I think it started to ramp up a little bit more. And I'm okay with feeling it out and kind of you don't want to like just blow out right at the beginning of the match, but the crowd really didn't seem to care about this match. There was like very subtle Kidman chants at the start of the match, but nothing that I don't think Kidman would have been proud of going back to the locker room. But yeah, it definitely picked up in spades heading towards the middle and the end of the match. So I was ready to give this almost a 2-star match. If it was, I think it really got good. As soon as I think that top rope jawbreaker, I was like, holy shit. And I think it just ramped up even more after that. So yeah, 2 3/4, it definitely made up for it.
After the match, Sonny Ono is going to come in and attack Kaz Hayashi, which I think made Kaz look a little wussy because Kidman's going to have to give him the save, which I thought was unnecessary when it's fucking Sonny Ono attacking you. That's
exactly what I thought.
Of course, Kidman and Kaz are going to give the handshake afterwards to keep their, keep making both faces. Only other thing to note is Sonny Ono apparently looked like a Japanese bee by Bobby Heenan, which just made me laugh because he's literally just wearing a black shirt with a yellow blazer, and apparently that makes him a Japanese bee. After this, we get our second replay of the night. It's from Nitro. It's Buff Bagwell, Scott Steiner in the ring, as well as Judy Bagwell. Pretty much a lot of the promo a lot of the repeat of the promo we saw last week on Thunder, where Scott basically says Judy needs to get out of the ring, out of their business, or he's going to put her on the mat. And Scott, is going to eventually attack Buff, drops him on his neck, kind of asks Judy if she has any more sons at home. Then they flash over to the interview of Rick Steiner. He's in the ring with Gene, and there's that laughter, and this is where Chucky's going to come up on the screen. And Rick pretends like he has no idea who that is, while Gene pretty much is like, that's fucking Chucky. Chucky's going to cut a promo and basically tell everyone to come see his movie. And then he's going to side with Scott Steiner and says, that Scott's going to get even on Rick Steiner. So one way to promote your upcoming movie is side with the heel. That's as opposed to the big baby face. And it's an interesting tactic. I understand why they do it because Chucky's supposed to be the bad guy. But it's a little different. And it was kind of an awkward promo here with Rick and Chucky, I guess.
And once again, I also tried to listen to the crowd. The crowd was kind of booing when Chucky was introduced because I think there was a lot of people that were like reading dirt sheets and wondering what the laughter was, and was it the return of a big star or the introduction of a new star? And instead, it's goddamn Chucky. And I think that just kind of took the wind out of a lot of people's sails of being like, ooh, this could have been a really cool opportunity. But I think the whole problem was because of, I think it was like almost 4 weeks of Chucky laughing, at least since the end of, I would say, was it War Games? War Games, right? That was the one we had, Fall Brawl. Ever since that pay-per-view ended, we've been getting this laughter going on, and then we finally get the big reveal on Nitro, and that just feels like that could have been a great way to introduce a new talent or the return of a talent. If this was just going to be Chucky, this could have easily never been no laughter for however long, and then when Rick Steiner is in the ring, then there's the laughter, then there's Chucky. Like that, you didn't need this this mystery that needed to be solved.
Right. No, I know what you're saying. It's always unfortunate when they do these teases for weeks upon weeks, and then the reveal is something awful. And that's
it's not. The worst is it's not wrestling related.
Right. After this, we get our Warrior Hogan Halloween Havoc promo that we saw last week, which I think Kyle you mentioned last week you loved, and they're just showing it again this week. After that, we get the Cat coming out. He talks, he's talking trash to everyone. Says that his 8-year-old son is taller than Jackie Chan. Says he's the real deal. Come out here and show me if you don't believe it. And out came a random fan in the crowd, apparently, who gets his head kicked off basically by the Cat. Somebody call his mama. That's your segment. So the Cat's just trashing fans now, Kyle.
3 stars.
After this, we get Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Prince Iaukea. Discussion starts out about the LWO. We found out, Kyle, that Psychosis joined this past week, and now he is there with Hector Garza, El Dandy, Ciclo Play, and of course the Patron.
Damien, not Ciclo Play.
Oh, yeah, my apologies,
Dude,
Damien.
Spoiler.
And then, of course, Prince Iaukea is the former television champion, as Tony Schiavone is going to let us know about a minute into the match. The match itself was actually solid for the two of them. At one point, Pepe is going to get grabbed by Prince Iaukea. He doesn't really do anything with it. And that's when Lee Marshall is going to astutely say, the old saying, you never mess with a man and his horse on a stick. Or no, that was Heenan, I think, said that.
I was going to say, that sounds like a Heenan thing.
And that's when they start all making horse jokes, which Tony says, does anyone have any more horse jokes before we get back to calling the match? And then Heenan has one more that he makes. And then Chavo Guerrero is going to give a wet willy to Prince Iaukea, which that's fun.
I mean, that was I wasn't anticipating that, but all I thought to myself was, oh, this match is going to get better, I think. I actually was really excited about this because this already looked like this was going to be a silly, silly match.
Right. And during commentary, Heenan makes the comment, Prince Iaukea looks great. He just got back from the Orient. And Schiavone goes, yeah, Mike Tenay just said that a few moments ago. And Heenan goes, oh, that's where I must have heard it. Which is just, it's classic Heenan banter here.
Well, Heenan's very good at taking what Tenay says and tries to plagiarize and take it for his own.
Right. Chavo Guerrero is going to hit the Tornado DDT for the win. I gave it 2.25 stars. I thought it was better than a standard match. Not much more special than that for me, but still not bad.
Yeah, I gave it 2.5 stars. There were definitely a couple of miscues. I think there was an Irish whip reversal that didn't look very good. But a very entertaining match. I think every match we've had so far has been a kind of strictly, we kind of base it on the merits of the wrestling itself. And once again, I'm not saying that the wrestling in this wasn't good. It was good. But I would say overall this was the most entertaining match that we've watched on the show tonight. Glad to see Chavo finally getting some wins under his belt. And I also thought that the Tornado DDP, he got spiked really good. I liked the way the finishing move was done.
Yeah, no, the finish was definitely well executed. After the match, we get a Goldberg DDP promo for Halloween Havoc. We got some bad Photoshop involved with it, as well as it's narrated. And that's going to lead to Schiavone in the ring. Of course, that can only mean one thing, Kyle. Out's going to come Diamond Dallas Page. He's going to cut a pretty quick promo here. He says he's not a phenom, he's not an undefeated guy, and he ain't the champ. But Goldberg, if you make a mistake, I got 2 words for you. Diamond cutter. Then tells Goldberg he believes he's going to feel the bang. And that's it. I thought it was a little bit of a weak promo for DDP here, and also really quick. But I guess, he made his appearance and got in and got out.
The thing I had a problem with is that it just sounded like almost exactly the same promo that he gave a few weeks ago on Thunder. With the whole I think the first time was kind of like, hey, I respect Goldberg. They're usually the classic face versus babyface. But once again says, hey, I got to know. Can you feel the bang? Everybody says that I'm not going to win, and I'm okay with that. All of this was exactly what he said last time that he got interviewed by Tony. So I almost actually fast forwarded this because I just felt like, dude, this is just the same promo. But I was like, you know what, though? I need to do my research. Maybe he's going to say something, off the wall, and it wasn't. And yeah, I think that when I timed the promo, it was about 40 seconds.
This is exactly what I meant when I made that comment, that you could feed the bot and it would spit out a script. This is the scripted DDP segment without the words Hollywood Scum Hogan thrown into it. Other than that, this was a quick version of what DDP has been basically saying for his upcoming match. After this, Michael Buffer's back, Kyle. So we got Buffer 2 weeks in a row. It makes sense. It's a pre-tape show. He's going to be introducing our main event. And it's going to, of course, involve Stevie Ray coming to the ring by Vincent. But on a side note, it's going to be about a week or two after this, probably about a week, maybe a week and a half after it's been announced. But congratulations to Stevie Ray getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year as part of Harlem Heat, of course, because he's not going to get inducted by himself. But good for you, Stevie.
Yep, exactly. And I know we make fun of Stevie Ray and everything, but at this point, if we're just talking based on the merits of WCW Thunder, if there's a Hall of Fame right now that is clearly just solely based on WCW Thunder, Stevie Ray at this point is going to have his own wing.
Yes, no doubt about that. Tonight he's wrestling Dean Malenko. Of course, Vincent's going to get his shots in whenever the ref isn't looking, and we're going to get a couple of bear hugs in this match, Kyle, which every time I say bear hug, I know you're smiling.
Oh, yeah, smiling as in breaking my teeth, which how hard I'm grinding them.
As for the match, Stevie Ray basically dominates most of it. Every time Dean's going to get a chance to, kind of make a comeback, he's, immediately squashed. That said, Dean's going to finally get his comeback in. He's going to lock on the Texas Cloverleaf. He's going to flip him over. Of course, that's going to bring Vincent in for the disqualification. I gave it a star and a half. It's easily the worst match of the night. And then, couple it in with the classic bullshit Thunder DQ finish.
I agree. 1.5 stars. I got 4 words for you. 2 fucking bear hugs.
There you have it. After the match, Scott Norton's going to come out. He's going to join in on the attack. This is going to lead to the Horsemen, who, of course, were banned from this arena last week, but because it's a new week on Thunder, they're no longer banned. They come out. They're going to clear the NWO out of the ring, and it's promo time. Arn Anderson's going to get on the microphone. He's going to say, Bischoff, you better make sure you finish the job with us. You have to have the cops come do your dirty work, and the Horsemen are going to take back the WCW. We were the first, we were the worst, and we'll be the last. And then Ric Flair's going to get on there and say it's hard to be humble. It says, Bischoff, you're not a man, you're not a human being. You are an object we are going to deal with weekly. We're going to be walking through subpoenas. We are the #1 most elite wrestling outfit. And Dean's going to get on the microphone at this point and say, there's 2 down, and anyone else in the NWO wants me. I'm ready and able. And then they're just going to do a lot of woos. And, they say, Bischoff, I'm going to have your job. And Heenan, as they're closing out, says, if Ric Flair is going to have his job, I just want to say that Ric Flair is the greatest wrestler of all time, and basically sucks up to him along the way. And that's how we're going to close out our Thunder. What did you think about Thunder 36, Kyle?
So before I go into that, a couple things about this promo. What a weird promo, just because, first of all, Arn declares Indianapolis Horseman country, which I was thinking to myself, were we even supposed to know that we were in Indianapolis? Because obviously, if we
right.
know we were there last week, and now the cat's out of the bag that we're here again. So I just thought that was funny, and I don't know if he would have gotten in trouble for doing that. I'm sure not a big deal.
Probably not a big deal. Yeah,
nobody was chronicling it like we are right now, I'm sure.
Exactly.
And the other thing I thought was hilarious was that. But basically, Arn and Flair basically just say that Dean can take a pounding, so go ahead and keep sending their goons to fuck up Dean because Dean's a horseman and he can handle it. And then Dean seems to be down with it and just getting his shit kicked in it weekly for some dumb reason. So he's like, I'm willing and able. That's why I said like the promo was just weird. It was basically just saying like, hey, it's cool if you keep on wanting to try and kill Dean. He'll be here every week. But as far as the show itself, overall, the show actually felt a lot. There was a lot like as far as the matches are concerned, there's only 6 matches on this card. And I think that's actually a very good number of matches to have. We've been dealing with a lot of shows where we've had 9, 10, 11 matches. And once again, it's just like anything else that we've discussed about wrestling and adding a new show, and you start thinning out you start overworking the talent, you start thinning the time that they can be out there and tell a story. They gave all of these matches, once again, minus the ending, and that could once again has a lot to do with the fact of how much time do you have left on the show and whatever the case may be. Plus, I just don't want to see Stevie Ray in a 12-minute match. I mean, personally, but I actually really like the pacing of the show. There was a handful of promos as well as the recaps. This felt like a more complete show. And so you got to give kudos to that. I wouldn't say the wrestling – I would say the wrestling was above average, even though there was a couple duds I didn't really care much for, because we've definitely seen better matches on Thunder. But the overall presentation of a TV show about wrestling was very well spaced, paced, very informative. I didn't have any complaints about what the heck happened on Nitro. I felt caught up in almost all the storylines, whether it was happening in the ring or if it was the commentary talking about it or the promos. So I was overall very pleased with the overall end result of the show.
Okay. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said. It is a pre-tape show, so we always got to kind of grade these a little differently, I think, because we expect pre-tape shows, I think, to not be groundbreaking, right? They're not going to do something crazy because they don't want to spoil it a week ahead of time when it, is out on the internet. But that said, to your point, yes, it was paced very well. The matches that we had, none of them dragged on. We thought they were all pretty much appropriately timed, with the exception of the main event, but Given who was in there, I can understand why it was that way. Most of the matches, you and I both agreed, were like 2-star plus matches. I think we only had the main event and one other match that we rated less than 2 stars, right?
Well, it also helps that you had 2 really strong cruiserweight matches back to back. I think that also it really woke up the crowd.
For me, I think. I didn't think they did a whole lot on the storytelling front as far as, you pushed a little bit of the Horseman stuff. But outside of that, the rest of it was done with not with ring or people. Like, no one from the Halloween Havoc card was here, right? I mean, yes, I guess Flair and the Horseman ordeal showing up, but I don't think they're on the card
and DDP cut a promo as well.
Right, but it was a weak promo. But sure. So that was kind of the downside to me. But that said, I think it was a better than average Thunder, and probably one of the better taped Thunders, which I think says a lot. So, it was a good show, but not one that we have a whole lot to talk about, which is why it's, our podcast is 40 minutes long this week, because when it's a pre-taped show with some solid matches, all I can say is, go watch the matches, watch a couple of them, that Konnan, if you want to watch Konnan and Parka for the crowd, you should. Kidman and Kaz Hayashi is probably match of the night, so that's the one you want. If you want to go back and watch one match, that's probably the one to do it. But really, what you should probably do is go check out Thunder 37. That's the October 22nd edition of Thunder. It will be the go-home show for Halloween Havoc. It's going to be live. We got a lot to push as we move to probably the best card that we have dealt with in our 36 episodes of Thunder. So I'm pretty excited about it. So if you haven't yet, followed us on, Twitter, go do it. We're at Thundercraps. If you haven't subscribed to us or left us a review or anything like that, please do it. It helps the show out a lot. We really appreciate that. And, of course, if you haven't listened to all of our previous episodes, you can always go to thundercraps.com to find all of that. And that said, we will be back here next week with Thunder 37. For Kyle Hogan, I am Josh Kaiser, and we will see you next time on the Thundercraps podcast.
We are willingly out of time. See you.